Hello, this is Sophia Petroni, and this is my unit plan website. And its subject is about poetry, as you can see. This unit plan website consists of four main pages: the home page, assessments page, lessons page, and unit resources page. On the home page, there is introduction for the lessons objectives, unit summary, content standards, and the big ideas of the lesson. This homepage provides the standards of English literature, students' objectives, and the big ideas that students should learn after viewing this unit. The most important about this page is that it has the content standards that I will apply through the activities and the learning strategies that I will use to explain the content area for my students. And the student objectives are located here, which are three main students objectives that also I will reflect on through the activities, through my lectures, and through my assessments activities that I will give to my students. Also, there's the assessment page, which is the second important page of this unit plan website. Here first we have an image that shows that this unit focuses on poetry corner that reminds students that this website is important because it has poetry analysis tips. So here I have the assessment activity, which consists of the entry level, four formative assessments, and two summative assessments. If students click on this assessment activity and try to zoom it, they will be able to read the formative assessment activities and the summative assessment activities. Here, the formative assessments include quiz, flashcards, Weber graphic organizer, and I will give my students also two summative assessments, which are writing analysis paper for the poem, which it will be their project, and I will give them a test so that they can analyze one of William Shakespeare's sonnets. Also, if students scroll down, they can see the assessment plan summary, which includes the summary of the assessment activities that they will do. And this summary tells students that they will be asked to show and discuss the importance of figures of speech in poetry. And it shows students that in the first lesson they will be complete a Weber size that contain tips of poetry analysis, and that they will view the web page that show them different styles of poetry in addition to the main features of poetry that the website contain. Then this assessment plan summary shows students that they will take a quiz and the analysis writing paper project at the end of the lesson. Also, this assessment page includes the requirements for the formative assessment assignment, which is writing analysis paper of Emily Dixon poem. And here are the requirements that students can view to write their analysis paper successfully and clearly. Also, this page lastly contain assignment rubric, which students should view and know about so they can know how to write their analysis paper, the requirements of this paper, and how I will grade their papers as English teacher. They should know that their paper should include the analysis of figures of speech, the tone, the style, and the themes of the poem. And this rubric is divided into three levels: professional, good, and a beginning. Also, in order for my students to develop their writing skills, analysis skills, and reading and comprehension skills, I posted on my website a teacher lecture presentation through the PowerPoint, which includes 10 slides. Most importantly, in this PowerPoint slides, there are the lessons objectives for students to know about. The objectives of this lecture is to analyze a poem, identify the figures of speech, write an analysis response of the poem, differentiate between the different types of poetry, identify the speaker in the poem, which is called narrative point of view, and examine the themes that are contributed in the poem. Also, students can look at these slides. If they go on the top of the page and then scroll down so they can see the rest of the slides. For instance, this slide contains the definition of poetry that students should know about so they can know the importance of poetry. And these slides also contain the basic elements of poetry, such as the figures of speech that students should analyze in a poem, which is a basic step they should know about, and the common poetry styles, such as lyric style or sonnet. So students can view here the different types of poetry, such as verse, ballad, or lyric poetry style. Students can scroll down also to look at other components of poetry, such as the difference between the rhyme, read, and meter. Also, they can learn about the vital types of meter. They can also learn through these PowerPoint slides about the points of view and the way they can identify the speaker, in which there are first point of view, second point of view, and third point of view, which is here. Also, on this page, there is a guided notes activity, which is along the PowerPoint slides. This guided notes is about the poetry analysis that students should reflect on a poem, and they should answer the questions which are on the right side of this column. This is a great and effective practice for students to know how much they understand the basic elements of poetry, to know how much they can reflect on a poem through their analysis, and to be able to practice to support their answers through giving evidence from the poem. Also, the second lesson in my unit plan website is called the Webercise, which is an effective activity that students should complete in order to practice their analysis of the poetry. This Webercise activity includes analysis of a poem of Shakespeare, which students should reflect on its writing style, and they can also view the website right here to see William Shakespeare famous works. Students can also describe the characteristics of Shakespeare's work by viewing the link on the top of the website and then answering the question. They will be also reflecting on Shakespeare's profession, and most importantly, they will be analyzing the poem Fear No More, The Heat of the Sun, which is a great practice for them. So I can indicate their strength and weaknesses in poetry analysis. And the third lesson in the lesson page would be viewing a YouTube video which will show my students the features of poetry, poetry terms, and basic elements of poetry through animations, and cartoon YouTube video, which is really interesting for students to see. And also, along with the YouTube video, I have a graphic organizer assignment by Questionnaire chart, which effective activity the students should complete so they can reflect on a poem by completing this graphic organizer sample. This sample shows students what are the additional features of poetry that they should reflect on, and the answers that they should provide on the right side of this graphic organizer. Also, I have the assessment tool of this graphic organizer activity, which will show my students how they will be graded and how they will be evaluated on their work upon completing the graphic organizer activity. This is assessment tool is really important for me to indicate how much my students understood the lesson topic of this content area. And lastly, I have the unit resources page, which is, I believe that it's really important page to have on a teacher's website because it provides students with helpful tips for any content area, not only just in the language art class. So, for instance, this unit resources page contains 10 resources, such as what is poetry, famous poets, poetry close reading, forms and types, and rhythm and meter. Actually, this unit resources page summarize all the terms of poetry and all the styles of poetry, which is our basic styles of poetry that students should know about. And these are helpful links that students should view and look at when they have a question about any poetry term, any poetry definition, or how to analyze the poetry in a successful way. I hope my students will enjoy looking at my unit plan website, and I hope that my unit plan website is helpful for them in order to develop their analysis skills, their writing and reading comprehension skills.